and welcome to the first episode of the Invincible Asia podcast, a new way for me to express my love for Hong Kong cinema and other Asian movies, vent my anger at the things I don't like, and talk shite about everything else. So, if you're easily offended, this is probably where you should switch off, although I do promise that I'll try my hardest to behave. So, I've been wanting to launch this podcast for a couple of years now, but as I grow older, it seems like time itself is just whizzing by, and I don't really like it. They say life is what you make it, and for the most part, I'd agree, but sometimes things just come about that you really don't have any control over, and suddenly another month has passed. So, regardless, we're here now, and I suppose it's better late than never. Now, after a busy 2024 in regards to Invincible Asia, writing, producing, and editing around 230 videos throughout the year for you to enjoy, it has been incredible to see the number of subscribers climb steadily, and for that I am most grateful. It's always nice to know that people are watching, and I know that not every video will appeal to you all, but I guess that's why I make so much. So for 2025, I've lined up even more, stupidly, which will no doubt break me financially and have me questioning why the fuck I even bothered creating double the workload to begin with. Aside from the countless unboxings and reviews of recently released products from distribution companies all around the world, each month I hope to bring you a podcast, an episode of my Heroes from the East, which focuses on those legends of Hong Kong cinema that we've already lost, Deep Impact, which dives deep into the pages of the now defunct Impact Action Movie magazine from way back in the early 1990s, more videos on my collection, more episodes of VHS Rewind where I look back at some of my favourite VHS pieces, What If episodes where I question what could have been, Versus episodes where I put two films up against each other in a bid to see which one is best, new interviews and further episodes of Untold Stories, more show and tells, and a monthly audio commentary of some of my favourite films. Now, if only I got paid as a producer, writer, editor, and presenter should be paid, we'd all be happy. But of course, this is all down to my genuine love of Hong Kong cinema. Now, obviously, I love a hell of a lot of other Asian cinema. If you're a fan of the channel and have been watching over the past couple of years, then you'll absolutely know that. But for me, it all started with Hong Kong movies. Jackie Chan, Sammo Hung, Yuen Biao, and many more. So, let me take you back to Belfast in the late 1980s. Now, I was a fan of many kung fu hits from around the age of 5 or 6, going on to, with the help of my parents obviously, religiously rent out films such as Jackie Chan's low-way classics like Fearless Hyena, Shaolin Chamber of Death, and Karate Ghostbuster, as well as the amazing Armour of God and Project A, along with films such as Bruce Lee's Way of the Dragon, Alexander Loray's awesome Ninja Kid's Kiss of Death, Sam Hoy's super fun Legend of the Golden Pearl, the brilliant Lucky Seven, The Last Dragon, and Big Trouble in Little China, among many, many others. Around the age of 12, my nan bought me my very own first videotape, Ninja USA. I remember it so clearly. It didn't come with a cover, it was just the tape in a blank case. It starred Alexander Loray, or Alexander Lowe as he was known in it, and I was hooked. From then on, I just had this burning ambition to own the biggest kung fu film collection in Northern Ireland, and find it really friggin' hard to enjoy Hollywood or straight-to-video American action flicks after watching so many of these over the years. I don't know what it was, but something had gripped me, and I just couldn't get enough of these incredible films. I had fallen in love with Hong Kong cinema, and I would hop on any bus or train to travel the length of the country in order to find video shops and ex-rentals to add to my collection. Of course, the independent stores were by far the best, littered with amazing kung fu titles and incredible artwork, slightly covered in dust, and often shoved into corners at the back of the shop, which was quite unnerving to a young fantasist like me, but I was determined. Now, of course, I had my regular spots at certain ex-rental retail shops in Belfast City. Oh God, what I wouldn't give for one more day in those places, where the average videotape cost just £3. Now, every Saturday of my teenage years was spent retreading the same footsteps over and over and over again, walking around all these stores, collecting whatever videos I could afford to get that had kung fu, ninjas, Shaolin, or generally any Asian star on the front cover. Now, in January of 1994, I came across Impact Movie Magazine, with Jackie Chan gracing the front cover. It was a shot from the epic Drunken Master 2, and I immediately became a fan. Sure, it was another cost to worry about, but it very quickly opened the door for me in letting me see just what a big deal Hong Kong movies were to so many people, and only made my love for this amazing cinema even stronger. Of course, around this period, video labels such as Eastern Heroes, Made in Hong Kong, and Hong Kong Classics were pumping titles out in video like there was no tomorrow, highlighted, promoted, and reviewed throughout the pages of Impact, so my life was pretty much complete. The magazine ran for around 20 years, with 241 issues published before it attempted to move online in 2012, but it quickly failed to offer the same enjoyment and excitement as its print form. I know I only went on to it about 2 or 3 times. It had no appeal to me whatsoever. Now, while I still have every issue and enjoy looking back at them, I totally miss the thrill of buying the magazine and reading about the next big Hong Kong movie and its stars. On a side note though, I did manage to fulfill a dream of mine in its closing years by appearing in multiple issues of Impact with coverage on my own independent movies and the film festivals that I was running at the time. It was just fantastic to be able to be a part of that, and a big thank you and shout out to Mike Leader for helping me achieve that. So, in the late 1990s, I spent a few years living in the USA and Canada, two countries that offered unlimited access to bigger video stores, more Hong Kong titles, and a Chinatown in every city, unlike the heel-dragging progress of Northern Ireland. But things just got dangerous real fast. Have you ever tried shifting hundreds of videotapes around in suitcases or shipping them over the Atlantic? Well, maybe I should have just waited, because soon after that, the DVD market came along and internet shopping exploded into our lives, and well, things just got out of hand. Now, over 30 years later, I'm still buying, still watching, and still a massive fan, although part of me curses the digital age for taking away my adventures of finding video stores in the strangest of places, as well as losing that huge VHS rental box, which just felt so much better than a flimsy disc case. So, with that fire constantly burning for this amazing style of cinema, I went on to create my own production company in 2007 and have been making independent feature films ever since in the action and horror department, all of which have been released on DVD and VOD around the world. My internationally attended film festival soon followed that, just over a year later, that saw the likes of Mike Leader and the late Albert Pune attend. But in 2020, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, everything soon came to a halt. So, as the years passed and the world tried to get back on its feet, I struggled to find my creativity, and I decided to channel any energy I had left into Invincible Asia on YouTube and its website, bringing over 40 years of passion to you and many other fans of Asian cinema through Blu-ray unboxings, film reviews, video retrospectives, and more, of course. Now, this, in turn, has allowed me to tick off some more dreams in providing special features for restored Jackie Chan classics on Blu-ray, such as interviews for the 88 Films release of Dragons Forever and Snake in the Eagle's Shadow, as well as doing an audio commentary with Mike Leader on the Hong Kong version of The Protector. I've also been lucky to produce video retrospectives for Blu-ray releases for as yet unannounced titles for a US label, along with a solo audio commentary on a Moon Lee title, which was a lot of fun to do, and I hope that I'll get the chance to do some more of those in the very near future. So yes, I think it's fair to say that Jackie Chan, Sammo Hung, Yuen Biao, Donnie Yen, Hong Kong movies and all their stars, and Asian film in general, has most certainly had a very positive impact on my life. And to be honest, I really don't see it ending anytime soon. And really, what a time to be a fan of Asian cinema. Not only a decades-old die-hard fan like myself, but even one who is relatively new to it all. I mean, imagine learning all about these classic titles that are out there. Such an incredible feeling. I mean, I have a lot, maybe too much in my collection, but I certainly don't have everything from the golden years of Hong Kong cinema. So I do get very excited when a title I've never seen gets announced for release. And in regards to that, can we just talk about the abundance of Asian movie releases that have been getting pumped out in the last couple of years, and what's to come in 2025? I mean, I honestly don't think I've ever been as broke as I am today with trying to keep up. Like, is it just me, or are more and more independent labels just jumping on the bandwagon of releasing Hong Kong and other Asian movies? Labels that have never even went close to going down this road before because they know that people and collectors like myself who are afraid of missing out are going to pay whatever it takes to get our hands on a limited edition collector's piece that has been restored. And I use that term lightly because they aren't always perfect, because it's such a rare title and we must have it. I mean, it's both incredible and ridiculous at the same time. Idiot Films, Eureka Video, Radiance Films, Arrow Video, Criterion, CineAsia, Vinegar Syndrome, Error 4444, Shout Factory, Spectrum Films, Nova Media, Canny Releasing, Cargo Movies, Shamrock Media. The list goes on and on and on, and more just keep joining in. Now, of course, as a fan, I'm very happy for this new lease of life on so many classic films of Asian cinema, but I also feel that many of them are taking us for a ride when it comes to the cost of many of these releases, with or without special features. And I'm looking at you, Idiot Films. The cost doesn't really seem to shift because these companies know we'll be getting them regardless. And while they'll listen to us complain over a few releases that lack special features, they know that by next month they're going to drop such a packed release that everyone will forget about all the shitty ones and buy that too. I mean, I wish I could say no, but I can't. And it's getting tougher and tougher to keep up. And then we have the replicated titles. I mean, fuck's sake. I'll take Burning Paradise as an example. One of my favourite Ringo Lam movies, and a film that I have been crying for a long time to be put out on Blue. It's such an underrated gem. It's an incredible movie. Please check it out. I still have the Made in Hong Kong VHS release from the mid-1990s. But when French label Spectrum Films announced that they were putting it out on Blu-ray, I jumped at the chance to see this film in full HD, and I wasn't disappointed. But there was no English subtitles, as with all Spectrum releases, so I still wasn't totally happy. Then Vinegar Syndrome dropped it on Blue, and I was super excited to get this release with English subtitles, gorgeous new artwork, and some extra features there also. It's a little more expensive, but it's a limited edition and blah 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 blah. Anyway, well, no longer is it on my doorstep when UK distributor Eureka Video announced that they're going to be releasing it on Blue here in the UK, and obviously, I'm going to buy it. I mean, it's ridiculous, but we all do it. Then maybe it's a case of FOMO, that fear of missing out, as my husband keeps telling me that I have. But it isn't really relative. Like, I mean, surely we all want to have the finest edition of our favourite movies. And to be honest, there usually isn't a huge difference between the restorations on these double releases from both sides of the pond. So is it really worth paying the price for a new audio commentary or interview? Because that's really all it boils down to. Or perhaps for the artwork. I mean, I'm definitely guilty for that for sure. But can you blame me? Just look at the amount of incredible artists that are gracing the covers of our favourite Hong Kong and Asian movies right now. I don't want to name them all, as you know exactly who I mean, but they're just amazing. And take us back to when those Jackie Chan videos in the UK were released with some gorgeously hand-drawn pieces. In fact, some of them are even better, if I'm to be honest. Like, for example, just before Christmas, Sean Longmore had posted on his Instagram a picture of the artwork he had done for the German Blu-ray release of Sammo Hung's hugely underrated Ghost Hunting, a Lucky Stars sequel that I've always wanted to see cleaned up and given some love. Now, I really enjoy this film, and while my fingers are crossed for a UK release sometime soon, I immediately took the bait because that artwork was just glorious. And while it cost a few more pounds than usual, I just had to get me a copy of this film with Sean's incredible artwork on it. But this surge in newly restored releases of classic titles, these love for the new artists, and that fight to get something before it sells out, it has also led to this surge of channels on YouTube and other social media platforms, like my own, that want to share and talk about Hong Kong movies, and then some. and it's great to see. It's just fantastic. Now, most are very supportive of each other's channels and pretty much on top of everything that's been released, so I guess that makes it harder when you want to stand out a bit more to keep that audience engaged. So, 40 years of watching Hong Kong movies and a collection of just over 4,000 pieces of physical media. Like, that's like collecting 100 films a year. Of course, when I started out with the videos, I never dreamed it would be like this today with Blu-ray and 4K releases, let alone DVD. Never dreamed of it. But I still go back to the videos now and again. Even the titles that I have multiple times on Blu-ray. I don't know, there's a comfort in it. The crackly sound, the snowy picture, reaching for the tracking button, and the fear that that player is going to chew your tape up, and this will be the last time you ever watch it. Mind you, my teenage self was a dab hand at cutting and sticking chewed videotapes back in the day. Sure, there might have been a wee bit rattling around in there, but they still played fine, albeit with a jump in a scene here and there. So I guess, to some degree, we are spoiled with what's available to us nowadays in terms of the quality of Blu-ray and 4K releases to the special features that come with them. Now, back in the 90s, you would shit yourself with excitement when a video release claimed to have the original theatrical trailer or a short making-of included after the main feature. I absolutely loved that. It really got me excited. And you know, I'm sure a lot of you mega fans would have gotten these as well, but I feel like for the most of my life in watching Hong Kong cinema, I've heard the same questions over and over, again and again, from friends and family members. Why do you watch that shite? Does it not annoy you when their lips don't match the words? Why do you not have Steven Seagal movies? Why do you only watch karate movies? And what is it you love about Hong Kong cinema so much? Well, as much as I let the first lot of questions just brush over me, usually asked by ignorant racist morons with no comprehension of art and film beyond Hollywood blockbusters that they're spoon-fed with when it comes to entertainment, I can never really come up with or settle on the right answer for the last one there. What is it I love about Hong Kong cinema so much? Well, I could give a dozen or more answers, to be honest there, but I always find it tricky to really sum up just what it is that makes it so special, and especially that of the 1970s, 80s, and early 90s. There was something just so fucking incredible about a lot of them, aside from the stars like Jackie Chan, Sammo Hung, Yuen Biao, etc. You know, you've got the genre-blending madness. That definitely had a lot to do with it. Something a lot of Westerners find difficult to handle. Even today, pick a genre, they usually shout. But why? I always shout back. They're like, I love this kind of thing. We don't need just a one genre type movie. That's what Hollywood is all about. Who says that a film has to just be one or two types of genre? A rom-com, an action comedy, an action thriller. Just because Hollywood have been doing it for 100 years doesn't mean every film should follow suit. If that was the case, we certainly wouldn't have over half of the exciting Hong Kong titles we have today, and other Asian film titles, of course. I could rhyme off a list of titles that fall into this category, but we all know what they are, and I love it. And then there's the incredible and often insane martial arts action, the ballistic gunplay, and the incredibly impressive kung fu battles. I mean, to think that every major Hollywood film and studio has now adapted this style of fight choreography is just insane when you consider how long it took for Hong Kong films to really break through and its style of action to be accepted. And when you look back at those classics from yesteryear, remembering that first discovery, like the Jackie Chan and Sammo Hung movies, the countless Shaw Brothers films, Cynthia Rothrock's Hong Kong hits, and many others like them, you couldn't help but be in awe at what you were seeing on screen. Even the lowest budgeted Taiwanese fight flick had something to make you sit up and take notice. Now, I'm not saying that every Hong Kong or Taiwanese movie is perfect, but they pretty much all have a little something, if not a lot of something, that stands out from the typical Hollywood action fare. Like someday, I'll come up with the right answer that sums it all up. But overall, I guess I don't really have to prove anything, because this has been my thing for 40 years now, my only bad habit, and with a collection like mine, countless media reports on my own films where I talk about my hero Jackie Chan and the inspiration of Hong Kong cinema, not to mention the work I do here on the Invincible Asia channel, I think it's pretty clear just how important this all is to me. Actually, just recently, I had someone ask me why I'd be bothered going to such lengths in making so many videos for hardly anyone to watch, as they put it. Now, it did kind of catch me off guard for a second, but that was all. Like, this was someone who didn't know me too well, a keyboard warrior who clearly has no ambition of their own. And I replied, because I love Asian cinema, I know quite a bit about it, and I love sharing that knowledge and excitement with those few people that watch my channel. What have you done with yourself lately? Of course, there was silence, as expected, and I could see that they were trying to come up with something else, but I jumped back in. I don't expect every video to gain big views overnight. Some get a few hundred hits, some get 1,000, but I have over 3,500 subscribers that are there to see content, and I know that you aren't one of them. Of course, later that night, they subscribed. Friggin' Egypt. But in a way, they had a point. I mean, I make a lot of content. It takes a lot of time, writing, shooting, editing, while the weeks pass very, very fast. Now, some of them are quick at gaining views, and some are incredibly slow. It is a tricky game to play in knowing just what subscribers really want to see. But does it ever get me down? Absolutely not, because I know that somewhere out there, even if it's just 100 people, that someone is interested in the movie I'm unboxing, or the fan mail that I'm sharing, or any other drivel that I put out there. Yes, it's not for everyone, but I'm dedicated to the cause, and my love for Hong Kong and Asian cinema is far too strong to give up at this stage. Another question I've always been asked is, what is your favorite film? I mean, Jesus, can you please ask me an easy question? I couldn't even settle on my top 10 favorite films if I'm being honest. I just could not answer that question. I've tried to figure it out before, focusing on just Hong Kong movies, or just Japanese movies, or just Hollywood movies, but it's such a tricky one. Maybe someday soon I'll write a book on my top 100 Hong Kong films, and that'll help me figure it out. Actually, prior to my launch of the Invincible Asia YouTube channel, I had started writing a book of reviews with some pretty colourfully designed pages, lots of awesome shots and poster art, and other articles throughout it. And I really loved what I had put together, but the publishers that I had approached all said it would have been better presenting it as a website unless it contained a lot more factual pieces on Asian cinema itself as opposed to just reviews. Now, I don't want to feel like it was a complete waste of time, so I will eventually bring myself back to it with a new approach that will hopefully tempt a publisher with a love for Asian cinema. Oh, what am I saying? As if I don't have enough to do. I'm talking about enough. Do you think we got enough titles in 2024? I mean, let's have a quick look back at what was released. And I'm only talking about what I got. I totally missed the load from the brilliant Radiance Films, who are fast climbing the ladder as a go-to label for some incredible titles of Asian cinema, and missed some releases from other labels that are out there also. I just can't keep up financially. It's getting ridiculous. I mean, we are just absolutely spoiled this past year for Shaw Brothers titles, with the long-awaited release of the Arrow Videos Shaw Scope Volume 3. It was absolutely beautiful, and definitely a better offer than their second volume. And while I think they package and present these classics better than any other distribution company, it's only fair to say that Shout Factory kind of put them to shame by pumping out another few incredible Shaw Brothers collections, going on to further announce one more before the year was out. On top of that, they managed to launch 2 Golden Harvest box sets by the end of December, the second of which I've not received at time of recording, and here's hoping that they keep it up, although the price of these things are absolutely bloody killing me. Also in the US, quality label Vinegar Syndrome have gotten on board too with Shaw Brothers titles, such as Chow Sing Chi's hilarious Love on Delivery, a gorgeous 4K edition of Johnny To's brilliant Lifeline, and another stunning 4K release with Corpse Mania, which just blew me away. I really loved it, definitely one of my favorites. And while I never got any of Spectrum Films' French releases of Shaw Brothers titles, I did manage to pick up 6 gorgeously designed German media books, which each offered 5 Shaw Brothers movies on Blu-ray. These were just beautiful and look so good on the shelf, so please be sure to go back through the channel and check out my unboxing and review for each of those. But here in the UK, both 88 Films and Eureka have been delivering, with Eureka only jumping on the bandwagon towards the end of the year there. And no doubt we'll see a lot more from them in the coming months when it comes to Shaw Brothers titles, and hopefully they'll get better at it, as Super Spies and Secret Lies, which were three 007 inspired movies from the late 1960s, and the horrendously titled Horrible History, which featured four classic movies from director Chang Cheh, weren't really that well accepted by the fans, and a very odd start to their launch of Shaw Brothers Movies Adventures. And while Idiot Films have been releasing some amazing titles from the catalogue, as single titles no less, with gorgeous artwork, they haven't exactly been overly generous on the extra features, kind of panning these off as nicely restored HD releases with a trailer and a picture gallery, yet still wanting to charge the same price as any amount of other titles that come packed with special features, a booklet and/or poster. Now, some of the Shaw Brothers titles to hit the shelves in 2024 included The Golden Lotus and Facets of Love, which both featured a young Jackie Chan, along with the incredible To Kill a Mastermind, The Shadow Boxing, aka Spiritual Boxer 2, Kid from Kwantong, and The Kung Fu Instructor, all of which are highly recommended and great to watch. Now, out of both of these leading distribution labels for Asian films in the UK, I would say that 2024 saw Eureka maybe just impress me a little bit more with their consistency, some great titles, and sticking to the release schedule. Idiot Films, on the other hand, were just fucking awful at keeping fans happy with shifting dates all over the place, especially after pre-orders were made, and delivering lackluster products by the end of the day, even though they pumped out more 4K titles in Eureka or Vinegar Syndrome. Titles like Jet Li's Fists of Legend, Bodyguard from Beijing, Tai Chi Master, and Feng Sayuk 1 and 2, they all looked stunning in terms of picture quality, grading, and the artwork that came with them. Absolutely gorgeous. But the copied extra features from earlier Dragon Dynasty releases, even some coming with less special features than those put out before them, I mean, it was just ridiculous. And yes, I get it. It's great to see these classics all put out in 4K and looking the best they've ever looked, but my god, Idiot Films, would it kill you to put a little more effort into the special features? I mean, they did it with the stunning 4K re-release of To Kill with Intrigue and their US-only release of Project A1 and 2 in 4K. Yes, it took months and months of delays, but they made it worthwhile and a top release, especially including the gorgeous artwork by Kung Fu Bob. But with the Jet Li titles, absolutely not. You're paying the mega bucks for the 4K restoration and stunning new art on the cover, which was such a shame. I mean, I really lost the love for Idiot Films that I used to have when they really seemed to care, when they were pumping out Hong Kong releases with loads of great features, posters, books, etc. But they just don't seem to worry about that now, and that's quite disappointing. Regardless, it has been an interesting year for them though, putting out some fun and other questionable titles alongside the previously mentioned Shaw Brothers and 4K releases, such as the eagerly awaited Inspectors Wear Skirts sequels, parts 2, 3 and 4. Never imagined that they would see the light of day here. Very happy that they put them out. Epic costume drama, Shishi, The Beauty of Beauties, shite releases of Sony's CJ7 and So Close, again not giving us anything new there, Holy Virgin versus the Evil Dead, which I loved, Immortal Story and An Autumn's Tale, which were both very nice to see, Brandon Lee's Legacy of Rage, which really didn't blow me away to be honest, and finally Jade Lung's Black Cat 2, which was beat to the street by Vinegar Syndrome's release of both movies on Blu-ray. Now they also finally get round to putting out an awesome release of Jackie Chan's Fearless Hyena 2, again previously beat by Criterion when they put out their Emergence of a Superstar collection, and pushed the releases of Dragon Fist and Magnificent Bodyguards back to 2025. Of course, I can't forget about the launch of their new Japaniki range, which has been pretty interesting so far. Starting with the so-so Tokyo Decadence, they quickly followed with the brilliant Evil Dead Trap 1 and 2. Again, these were just okay releases, really, but it wasn't until the big box set of the Gyra's Guts trilogy that we really start to see where things are going. I mean, I absolutely would have led with this, but it'll be interesting to see what they put out on it this year. Of course, Eureka Video have been keeping up with their own range of Japanese films, most of which are classics of the samurai and yakuza kind, such as their US-only release of Sonny Shiba's Beast Fighter collection that included the insane Karate Bullfighter and Karate Bear Fighter, Then other Chiba classics such as Yakuza Wolf 1 and 2, Bodyguard Kiba 1 and 2, and Message from Space. Other Japanese titles, some of which have also been released in the US by Vinegar Syndrome and their partners, are Samurai Wolf 1 and 2, The Valiant Red Peony 1 to 3, Wolves, Pigs and Men, and Prison Walls 1 to 3, which introduced the extensive Abashiri Prison series, and I really, really enjoyed them. But I have to say that I've really enjoyed their wide range of Hong Kong classics more so, such as the rare Joseph Koo classic, The Swordsman of All Swordsmen, which came with a bonus disc of the classic Mystery of Chess Boxing, a gorgeous 4K restored release of Jet Li's Black Mask, and Golden Harvest classics such as When Taekwondo Strikes, Slaughter in San Francisco, which was a nice surprise, Kung Fu Cult Master, A Queen's Ransom, The Double Crossers, Broken Oath, The Sword, The Champions, A Man Called Tiger, The Miracle Fighters, and a double set of its sequels with 2 Taoist tales, many of which I never imagined would see the light of day on Blu-ray, especially here in the West, and I was super, super happy when a lot of these titles were announced. Now, on top of that, they then delivered 2 stunning 4K releases with the Keen Hu Classic, the Valiant ones, and a double pack of Cynthia Rothrock's China O'Brien 1 and 2 that would go on to be slightly bettered by the Vinegar Syndrome release of the same thing very soon after. But it's great to have both. As a collector, I'm not complaining. And of course, I can't forget about the surprise web store only Blu-ray release of the outrageous and brilliant Wong Jing movie, Future Cops. I mean, this was just amazing. I never thought I'd see the day, but there it was. And I just loved it. This is a fantastic movie. It's not perfect, but for me, from my teenage years, this is an important title, and to see it in full HD and on Blu-ray was just incredible. And talking about Vinegar Syndrome, before I forget, I did love what they put out this year along with China O'Brien 1 and 2, such as their gorgeous restoration of A Man Called Hero, although no Storm Riders, which really surprised me, Lady Reporter, My Father is a Hero, A Chinese Torture Chamber Story 1 and 2, An Eye for an Eye, which I was super stoked for, the disappointing Dial D for Demons, and partner labels who delivered films such as Man on the Brink, Journey to the West, My Heart is That Eternal Rose, and Red Peony Gambler 1 to 3, alongside some of those other Japanese classics that Eureka had done, as I had mentioned. I was also very happy for their announcement of Women on the Run, one of my all-time favourite Korean Kwai movies that slipped in just at the end of the year with more stunning artwork by Sean Longmore. Now, I've been crying for this to hit Blu-ray for some time now. I mean, literally for years, and I cannot wait to have it in my hands. It looks absolutely stunning. Of course, I can't forget about the gems that Cine Asia have been putting out there with the likes of The Goldfinger, Born to Fly, Creation of the Gods, and 4K release of the amazing Twilight of the Warriors Walled In, which I also managed to see on the big screen a few times, along with theatrical releases for The Stuntman and The Last Dance. It was just amazing. American independent label Era 4444 have also been impressing with a number of great releases, some of which I did pick up, including Cat 3 classics, such as Billy Tang's Run to Kill and Red to Kill. They blew me away. These were first-time watch for me, and just wow. I mean, wow. Along with the Crazy Family and Mukuro trilogy, which were good fun. These guys sell out extremely fast, so you'll be hard-pushed to find any other past releases unless you want to pay through the teeth for them on eBay. But do keep an eye out for the likes of those Billy Tang movies. Run to Kill and Red to Kill are absolutely well worth picking up. They were just beautifully restored and eye-opening movies. If you haven't had the experience of them, they are definitely well worth checking out. Not for those of you with a weak stomach, though. While I did miss the most of what Radiance had put out, as I mentioned, I had made a point of not missing their gorgeous releases of collections such as The Bounty Hunter and Shinobi, both of which were beautifully put together and a lot of fun to watch. And then you had the Severin Films release of the massive and equally impressive first Game of Clones Bruceploitation box set, possibly one of my favourite releases of the year, and one that definitely rekindled my love for old Bruce, but not Bruce Lee flicks. It wasn't completely perfect, but I really can't wait for the second one, and I do hope that there is a second one. So, other single releases that were great to get my hands on was Criterion's Heroic Trio 1 and 2 Executioners, which were beautifully restored, although kind of lacking in special features. The surprise, although very packed, Visual Vengeance Blu ray release of Steve Wang's Kung Fu Rascals was just an absolute gem. Really pleased with that release. Neon Eagle Video's brilliant release of the cult classic Ninja Terminator. Again, I never thought I'd see the day, but I'm glad they put it out there. And it was good to finally get my hands on the Massacre Video Blu-ray release of Horrible High Heels, even if they did forget that special features are a thing. But no one loves physical media more than Germany, it seems. And although their prices are extortionate in comparison, it's hard to deny the spend when you see so many beautiful media books being put out there. By saying that, I did miss quite a few, such as The Angel Enforcers, Iron Angels, and No Retreat, No Surrenders that were released throughout the year. But I made a point of getting my hand on Shamrock Media's gorgeously done Dreaming the Reality, which was released as Blood Sisters, Queen's High, released as Red Force The Beginning, Angel Terminators, Cheetah on Fire, and Ninja in the Dragon's Den, which was released as Ninja Commando. They were all fantastic and absolutely gorgeous. Then there was also the very welcome Play On Media book releases of Jackie Chan's First Strike, which included the extended Hong Kong cut, and 4K media book of Ride On, although that came without English subtitles. But I was extremely happy and honoured to receive an extensive collection of media books, Blu-rays, and DVDs from Cargo Movies, which give me the chance to see classics like Full Contact, Hard Boiled, The Adventurers, The Killer, Peace Hotel, the Tiger Cage trilogy, the Swordsman trilogy, and so many more in glorious HD. Go check out my Cargo Movies playlist on the channel to see just what they've put out there, and indeed every other playlist of labels and stars. That'll definitely keep you busy if you've nothing else to watch. So yes, it was an absolutely crazy busy year for releases, and I fear that, as much as I'm excited for it also, that 2025 will be just as bad for my bank balance. Ugh, the curse of a collector, eh? So, bringing it back, this first podcast is about my love for Hong Kong cinema, something that spans decades and will no doubt keep going strong for many decades to follow. And it's fair to say that it's been somewhat of a roller coaster at times, kind of since the mid-1990s, to be honest, and definitely since the handover in terms of the quality of movies being made in Hong Kong. But as with the three incredible decades that came before it, there definitely has been some standout moments since that have really brought Hong Kong movies back to the forefront of action cinema, albeit while taking its filmmakers down a whole new road in search of its glory days. But as much as it disheartens me to say those days are not coming back, that excitement, the skills, the pure rawness of what we got from those films made, and more so throughout the 80s and early 1990s, there really hasn't been anything in the last 25 years that brings back that same incredible feeling, amazement, and joy than those we used to catch on video back in the day. But I also feel that this has to do with an age thing. I mean, we very much have different minds to our teenage years, and it's important to remember how our views on things change as the years pass. Now, saying that, Hong Kong cinema and Chinese cinema in some respects have certainly come close, and some have most definitely impressed just as much as all of those classics that we do love. But on a whole other level, they're very different movies altogether. From Hero to House of Flying Daggers, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon to True Legend, Invisible Target to New Police Story, SPL to Raging Fire, Kung Fu Hustle to Ip Man, and the incredible Twilight of the Warriors Walled In, as well as so many more, it's fair to say that Hong Kong cinema is alive and well, and while it strives to hark back to what it once was, it's quite clear that this is a new kind of Hong Kong cinema, with a fresh wave of directors, filmmaking styles, action choreography, and big investment from the mainland. Now, without a doubt, it's very clear that the heart of the Hong Kong film community is still beating incredibly strong, which is just amazing, and long may it last. Absolutely. And with that, I guess I will bring this episode to a close. I've maybe been on a wee bit too much about my love for Hong Kong cinema and other things. I did warn you at the start, but I will be back again and again to go on about it in many of my upcoming videos. Thanks for listening in, and a big thank you for the continued support. It's very much appreciated, and good to know that Invincible Asia is worth doing for those of you who keep coming back and those of you who are yet to come. Until next time, enjoy your Kung Fu and a very happy new year. So thank you once again for watching another video here on Invincible Asia. Don't forget you can check out hundreds of others here on the channel. You can also show your continued support by heading over to my new merch store or by checking out invincibleasia.com, where you can read my full movie reviews and follow me on Instagram at InvincibleAsia. Until next time though, enjoy your Kung Fu and I will see you soon.